we hear you fine.
Great.
Okay. You need to sit on the front row.
You don't mind? Would you please all sit down and we'll get this started? We have a number of special guests. We even have special visitors from the high school band. So I want to thank everyone today for coming out to help us celebrate the completion of our historic Safe and Sound Bridge Improvement Program that began back in the spring of 2009. This is such a great day for everyone involved, everyone from MoDOT, the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, our contractor partners at KTU, Phillips Grading, all their subcontractors, all the suppliers that made this a success, but most importantly to you in the crowd and your family and friends that use these roads and bridges every day and that form the backbone of our economy. So, before I go and talk about details of this bridge or what this program has meant to us in Northwest Missouri, I would like to introduce a special guest, but before I even get to do that, the band has been kind enough to play the national anthem for us. So if everyone could stand up, we will get the band going. That was outstanding. Thank you, guys. Now, before we get started, we also have a number of special visitors in the crowd that were kind enough to show up today, so I'd like to recognize them. We have Mayor Ronnie Rogers from Mendon, Missouri. We have the Eastern County Commissioner from Chariton County, Ray Dowell. We have the Western County Commissioner, Shorty Gladbach. And in the front row here we have Sarah Kraft representing Senator Blunt's office. Is there anyone I missed or might have walked up here at the last second from some other offices? I actually talked with our state senator last night, Senator Stouffer, and he asked me to pass along his regrets that he couldn't be here today because he was an integral part of this program also. But they're all tied up in Jefferson City today. None of them could make it, so they did want to pass along their regrets. And now we have some of the very special guests that I'm used to working with at MoDOT. We have with us here to my right, I'd like to introduce the chairman of our Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, Chairman Rudy Farber, who has a few things to say about this huge accomplishment today. So with that, Rudy, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I don't think we could have picked a nicer day. It might be a little windy, but it's November. I can remember some dedications in November. A little bit nevertheless. Absolutely a fabulous project. 802 new and improved bridges in just 3.5 years. To my right is our Vice Chairman, Mrs. Nichols, who was at the groundbreaking for the first Safe and Sound Bridge in Polk County. That was 3.5 years ago. And I'm sure she's delighted to be here today since we got COVID. Gatt, David, former commissioner, and was very instrumental in getting this program on the road. We're really proud to say that this is truly a project that benefits all the counties in Missouri, because there is not one county that didn't have at least one bridge. And northwest Missouri has the greatest number of 190. And as you well know, that really helps out the economy as far as farm to market. And that's very important, because economic activity is really important to us. As a commissioner, we met last month in my hometown, Neosho, and we remarked at that time the vast number of people who were employed in this in terms of they were Missourians, and they were employed and getting a paycheck and helping the state at the same time. We're also very proud, in addition to our contractors, the part that the MoDOT, our MoDOT staff played in this. They worked hard and in conjunction with our partners 2 years ahead of schedule, and that is really outstanding. It's really one of those things that we didn't expect, and we were very gratified. You know, our state and our nation depend on the durability of our transportation system, and this infrastructure is extremely important to us in enhancing our economic development and our travel. It's important to note that safe and sound bridge improvements were made possible by funding through bonding, but unfortunately the bonding has run out, and we are unable at this point in time to repeat this program. Our construction program has fallen significantly, and current funding levels are barely enough for us to maintain what we have. This, I do not believe, is the vision we want for Missouri. I think what we want is something of the vision of Missouri being the distribution point for all of the Midwest and for parts of the East and for parts of the West. And in order to accomplish that vision, we need to have a long-term funding solution for our infrastructure problem. And the only way to continue providing safe, efficient movement of traffic through Missouri is to continue to work toward a solution to the funding problem. We certainly would like to applaud the collaborative effort by everyone to make this project possible. It has been a real pleasure for all of us on the commission to watch this progress that has been made, and I know that you're going to enjoy this bridge for many, many years. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Chairman. And I know you heard the Chairman talk about partnerships and what a project of this magnitude took to complete it a full 2 years ahead of MoDOT schedule. It was an impressive accomplishment. And speaking of partnerships, let me introduce to you our next speaker. She hails from KTU Constructors, and they took the challenge to deliver 554 of these 802 bridges in a manner in which we have never seen in the MoDOT history. So I'd like to introduce Stacia Hagenkoff to say a few words about their role in this huge accomplishment. Stacia.
Good afternoon. I'm Stacia Hagenkoff, Commercial Manager from KTU Constructors. And here with me today are a few other managers from KTU. We have Cole Rink, Dave Vanasek, Matt Trostel, Ryan Carter, TJ Wilheaver. They're out here amongst y'all. And also here is Betty Burry and Carl Schiffman from HNTV Corporation, one of our designers on the project. Thank you all for joining us in this event to celebrate the opening of Bridge 131. Bridge 131 was built by Phillips Grading and Construction Company. I'd also like to recognize Phillips Field Superintendent Luke Hungett for supervising the work on this and the other 75 safe and sound bridges Phillips built. But I don't believe he's here with us today. Overall, 554 bridges were built under the KTU portion of Safe and Sound. KTU had teams in 100 111 of Missouri's 114 counties. Chariton County has 2 new bridges for this project. In addition to this bridge on Route 11, Bridge 132 on Route B over Puzzle Creek was completed in April of 2011 by Boone Construction Company. It is important to note that with the combined efforts of Phillips Grading, KTU Constructors, and MoDOT Department of Transportation, this bridge was successfully completed without a single accident or injury. This particular bridge required a high level of planning and coordination because of nearby gas lines and active railroad tracks. There were also challenges at this location relating to easements and environmental considerations. We worked through those challenges as a team with MoDOT, communicating, sharing information and ideas, and bringing the project to a successful close, just as we have with the other 553 bridges constructed by KTU and our subcontractors. The completion of this bridge marks the end of Safe and Sound. Not only are we complete 14 months ahead of the KTU construction schedule, we are also 2 years ahead of MoDOT's original target completion date. KTU couldn't have achieved this result without the participation of local Missouri bridge contractors and our seamless partnership with the Missouri Department of Transportation. We worked with 23 different local contractors to build 554 bridges in 3 years, averaging a bridge completion every 1.5 days. Peak construction took place in 2011, when we were averaging 60 bridges under construction across the entire state at any given time. Our success completing the project ahead of schedule and under budget could not have been achieved without the continuous communication and coordination provided by MoDOT's Safe and Sound team. Other MoDOT departments, including maintenance, motor vehicle, community relations, environmental, railroad coordination, to name a few, also played an important role in KTU's planning and scheduling. We thank our partners, we thank the citizens of Missouri, and we thank the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission for the opportunity to be a part of this successful Safe and Sound program. And thank you again for coming out to join us in today's celebration.
Thank you, Stacia. Okay, let's get down to a few facts and details about the bridge you are all standing or sitting on today. This bridge was the 190th out of 802 and the final bridge in the state of Missouri completed. So Northwest Missouri ended up with 190 out of 802, which is almost 25% of the program. So we feel incredibly blessed in Northwest Missouri to have so many bridges in the program. The old bridge that stood here for 76 years, 24 feet wide. The new bridge is 38 feet wide, has guardrail enhancements, which make this bridge significantly safer than the old bridge that stood for 76 years. In fact, every bridge in the 802 Safe and Sound Bridge Improvement Program was widened, and numerous bridges had safety enhancements to the guardrail, so we significantly improved 802 bridges statewide. So an impressive accomplishment. While you have already heard that we had the most bridges in the program, we could not have done any of this without the patience of the traveling public during these closures. So I'd like to give a round of applause to all the locals here that put up with these closures. Now, how we did it, our contracting partners delivered on their promise to cause minimal disruption to the surrounding communities. They were able to average 42 days per bridge closure. And a typical MoDOT performance would have been between 90 and probably 120 days in the old manner in which we did it. So to trim that more than half was just an amazing accomplishment. It still blows my mind as I stand before you how quick we turned all these bridges around. And we delivered them, they delivered them 2 full years ahead of schedule. This was a monumental accomplishment. In Northwest Missouri alone, we decreased the number of poor bridges from 415 to 290, which means we still have 290. That's still, we improved, 70% of our bridges were good before this program, now 80% are good in Northwest Missouri. But 20% is still too many that are poor. Without an innovative approach like the Safe and Sound Bridge Improvement Program, many of these poor bridges would have faced closures or long-term delays before they could have been fixed by our old traditional funding model. So please keep that in mind when the discussion of funding infrastructure comes up in the future. And I want to thank everyone again for coming out today, and let's cut the ribbon so we can open this bridge. And before we do that, we do have refreshments and cookies we want everybody to enjoy since this is the final one. So, Melissa, we're ready to cut the ribbon. So for that, I would like all the elected officials, the highway commissioners, Sarah, Dave, you're here. Let's get, Ken, why don't you come up too? Where are we going to cut it? In front of the band. The band's actually going to play a closing number for us. Do we want to do it during the cutting? We're going to, once we get lined up to cut it, we'll cut it and you can start.
Everybody needs to be on the other side.
There we go.
Right on the other side.
There we go. You've got a point.